Okay, hello and welcome back to part 2 of this 4-part series that we have about the situation in Louisiana, where they are redrawing the districting maps for taking away the voters, black vote representation. This next part 2 is Senator Carter. He's a senator now, and one of the black representatives that is in jeopardy, possibly, of losing his seat and it going to a white representative. Part 2 of this, them killing the Civil Rights Act in Louisiana.
Senator Carter for a question.
Thank you, Bishop. I just want to make it for the record that that's my bishop. I grew up underneath you, Pastor.
Yes, sir. Yes,
and it's me, my whole family, my mom, my dad, my sister, and I'm so glad that you brought the word today, because you can tell.
You brought a powerful. You were powerful today. I'm sorry they cut you off, but you was powerful.
Listen, and it's back on.
All right. Yes.
Yes.
Listen.
You could tell the fruit. You could tell the tree by the fruit of by the fruit of that tree.
Excellent.
Thank you, Pastor, for that word. In general, you mentioned something. It's almost football season. Oh yeah, they're gonna celebrate diversity when they roll out the LSU football team. They're going to roll out diversity. They want to eliminate diversity and inclusion in our congressional representation. They want to eliminate diversity and inclusion when it comes to teaching it at our universities. But when they're trying to assemble a football team that can compete, or when they're trying to assemble a basketball team that can compete, they want diversity and inclusion then. Thank you.
Senator Barrow, Madam Pro Temp. Sorry.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Again, more notable individuals sitting at this table. While this is a really defining moment in history, it is not a great moment to celebrate. It is a great moment to have all of you giants representing here in your respective fields. We have a general of the faith, Reverend Paul Morton. And look, even though you're not my bishop, you've always been my bishop. I've been watching you from afar for many years. A general of armed services who served his country well, who was really the armor bearer, who carried us through in Hurricane Katrina and brought us out of pure chaos. And then the general of civil rights, integrating the schools, setting the standard, letting it be known that A, we can learn like everybody else, B, we are more smart and intelligent, and that we can carry our own weight when given the opportunity. I just want to say thank each of you for being here. Thank you for being a part of the conversation, making sure that our young people understand that this cannot be lost, that we are setting the standard for them to walk through the door. We have to make sure that this door remains open, and that every young person coming behind each of us, all of us in this room, have the same opportunity that we have had, and better opportunities. Because the truth of the matter is, not only will they do well as each one of you have done, because it's already given. You have the fruit that already shows how each one of you have already made your contribution, not only to this state, but to the country, and the importance that it's made to every citizen. And one of the things that you said, Pastor Morton, America is great when all are included, and that is the message that we need to be stating. American is great when all is included. So thank y'all for being here today.
Thank you, Madam Pro Temp. The board is cleared. Thank you all for your testimony. I'm not going to go forward until it's calm. Reverend Jackson, you're from Shreveport?
I am.
All right, I'm going to take you. Did you fill out a green card?
Yes.
Okay, I'll try to find it. Reverend Jackson, I'll take you up first. Please tell us who you are and give your testimony.
Sure. Mr. Chairman, and to this committee, my name is Theron Jackson. I was born and raised in Lake Charles, but I've lived in Shreveport for 35 years, and I've come before you today not only as a pastor, but as a community leader, as an educator, as a formerly elected official and as a citizen who's tired of watching democracy become negotiable whenever black voices begin to matter. I'll tell you what confused me today when I listened earlier at the presentations. I was confused because the map that was before the Supreme Court, I understood that Republicans voted for that map. The governor supported that map. The Secretary of State supported that map. And my question was, were they drawing a racially gerrymandered map? Or was it drawn for political partisan reasons? I think so, which could make it legitimate by the Supreme Court, you would think. But that pattern is not accidental. That pattern is historical. Mr. Chairman, with all due respect, Louisiana doesn't lead America in health care. We don't lead America in education. We don't lead America in opportunity. We don't lead America in child well-being. And quite frankly, in many of those categories, we are dead last. But somehow, this legislature can move with lightning speed when the issue becomes limiting black political power. We can't move fast for poor children. We can't move fast for health care. We can't move fast for cancer and Cancer Alley. We can't move fast for failing schools. We can't move fast for rural hospitals. But when black representation is at stake, suddenly the exigency is at a level of urgency. The Speaker of the House of the United States, who used to represent me, the majority leader of the Republican Party in Congress, they both come from Louisiana. You serve in a majority white Republican Senate, down the hall from a majority white Republican House with the white Republican governor. And this state is near the bottom of the nation in nearly every quality of life metric that actually measures human flourishing. So the question before us is not whether Louisiana knows how to exercise power. The question is who benefits from that power. If this legislature fought poverty as hard as it fought black representation, Louisiana might rise from the bottom. Mr. Chairman, before I say anything else, I need to acknowledge something that ought to humble, I think, this entire room. I was not in this room. I was in the overflow room. But sitting there today were all 4 black congressmen elected to the state, from the state of Louisiana since slavery. Think about that. Since slavery, since lynching, since poll taxes, since literacy tests, since black people had to guess how many bubbles were in a bar of soap just to register to vote. Since people lost jobs, homes, and lives, and their lives, I should say, for trying to participate in democracy. And now we saw today all 4 sitting here. That shouldn't merely be politically observed. That ought to be morally convicting. And yet at the very moment that we see that, Louisiana has finally begun to reflect more representative democracy. The machinery of power begins moving at a remarkable speed to redraw, reduce, and restrain that representation. It seems that some leaders have become more committed to maintaining the map than improving their state. Some leaders seem more concerned with keeping their seats than losing their integrity. More concerned with keeping the president's or governor's favor than keeping faith with people who sent them here. And more seem to be concerned with protecting party power rather than protecting democratic principles. More seem to be concerned with drawing safer districts than building safer communities. That tension is not lost on us. History is watching this committee. For generations, black people in Louisiana were told to wait. Wait to vote. Wait to participate, wait to be represented, wait for fairness, and now that representation has finally emerged, now that we have seen it, we are once again being told democracy must be rearranged. It literally took centuries to get the 4 black congressmen who were sitting at this table today, and it shouldn't take one special session to try to undo what generations suffered to build. Senator Jenkins, you're right. Every map drawn by the other guy who's happy that he got some black friends is gerrymandered for white Republicans, even though he encodes the terminology by using the code word traditional, perhaps without understanding that we know that anytime you use the word traditional, you're signaling not y'all. And Senator Carter, you were right. DI works well in the fields, whether they're cotton fields or football fields. But perhaps what troubled me the most today, because I was in the other room, so I didn't get to see this. We were just watching on the television screens, and I didn't know, from the overflow room, I couldn't tell who was on this committee, but I thought it was just 3 black senators. Because 4 black congressmen from Louisiana, a general, and other people have sat here, maps have been presented, communities have been pleading to be heard, and yet many on this committee have responded with no questions, no engagement, no visible wrestling with the moral weight of their decision. And Louisiana, I want you all to know, silence has a history too. Silence during segregation, silence during voter suppression, silence during unequal schools, silence while communities were poisoned, silence while black voters have been diluted, and silence, ladies and gentlemen, have never been neutral. Some people in this room inherited rights they never had to march for, never had to bleed for, never had to bury a loved one for them. And perhaps that's why it's easy for them to sit and treat this representation, other people's representation, as negotiable, because they never known what it means to live without the rights. But I need to remind those citizens who are of the same spirit and heart that there are some rights that are neither conferred by nor derived from the state, that they are God-given rights, and that the Bible teaches us, woe unto those who legislate evil and rob the poor of justice. I appreciate these few minutes, and I pray that when history, because all these titles will fade, these committee positions will fade, terms will be up, and I pray that one day when your grandchildren look at you and ask you what you did when the fate of history was before you, that you'll be able to say, I had the courage to do the right thing. Shame that it takes courage to do the right thing, but I hope you'll be able to say, I had the courage to do the right thing. Thank you, sir.
Thank you for your testimony.
So don't go away. That was part 2. Part 3 coming up right after this. The link to part 3. Below this video, that part right there.